It's important to talk about the unique candidacy of JiaChao as Hong Kong's next chief executive. However, before we do, let's consider some aspects of the backdrop leading to the coming election. Addressing unacceptable violence, riots, looting, and physical assault of Hong Kong citizens. The national security law was long overdue. Now, if you have an anti-Beijing narrative to spread, such as in a recent article published by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, suggesting there's only the facade of genuine democratic election, you might want to consider that even The Economist, who publishes more than its share of articles critical of China, acknowledges the national security law does not have one single provision that violates any existing provisions of the Hong Kong Basic Law or the one country, two systems principle. It seems people even want to complain that leaders of a country shouldn't be required to be patriotic when leaders of virtually every country across the world are sworn to uphold their country's laws and values with patriotism. Over these 2 decades, today's China and its regions have become the largest, safe, stable, successful, capable, and civil country in the world. The highly respected Harvard and Edelman annual surveys show China is #1 in the satisfaction and trust level of its citizens. Hong Kong's changes are changes the majority of Hong Kong citizens welcome, while false narratives, well, where do they come from? From funded neoliberal separatists who do not care one whit about the harmony, safety, and stability of Hong Kong or its people. And the May LegCo elections exist today in their best possible form, order, and process for the people of Hong Kong. JiaChao, currently the only official to replace Carrie Lam, brings positions with a strong emphasis on the national security law and the basic law to ensure a stable society and order needed in Hong Kong, with the proper patriotism for the role. It's important to note his essential loyalty to Beijing in light of the malign political efforts to undermine Hong Kong and the mainland, along with Mr. Lee's favorably unencumbered status with no ties to or vested interests in tycoons. During a recent election committee meeting, he lamented how the city's legal system and commitment to rule of law was polluted by politics. He promised to conduct a SWOT assessment of the city with particular concerns in regard to the financial sector. Pressure exists to further integrate with mainland China as protection from punitive measures, while also continuing to develop technologies to be competitive for the city to further integrate its financial sector with mainland China's and develop industry-related technology to maintain a competitive edge. Members of the Basic Law Committee also reminded JiaChao to pass the local Article 23 legislation to further complement the national security law, which Beijing initiated 2 years earlier. So, in wondering how the landscape of Hong Kong will shift, some Western media have suggested that his election will create more oppression of free speech. However, what free speech are they talking about? To astute observers, it's nothing more than a worn-out Western propaganda talking point in comparison to the serious and pressing long-term issues which will ensure that Hong Kong continues stability and safety for its people, along with its still highly ranked status as a world-class haven for business and investment.